Revisionism didn't arrive with Khrushchev. Bernstein was the father of revisionism. And Lenin wrote extensively about the dangers not only of revisionism, but of leftism, the twin dangers that confront the working class movement. And they are reverse sides of the same coin. They are both equally dangerous in diverting the working class movement from the correct Marxist-Leninist path of struggle. And part of the difficulty I always find when we get into this kind of discussion is that there is, from the ultra-left, a very fierce denunciation of revisionism, which is fair enough, and from the revisionists, a very fierce denunciation of ultra-leftism, but it doesn't necessarily take us very far. And living in this country at this time, the crucial issue for us is the path out of where we are in terms of capitalist society towards a socialist future. And it's not enough to simply talk about the theoretical difficulties of the past and as they impinge on the present, but out of that to produce a programme that is going to take us forward. And that really is the crucial issue. And let us remind ourselves that insofar as Bernstein was the father of revisionism, who told us that the revolutionary phase was past in the late 19th century, by 1914 the international capitalist world was tearing itself apart. 1917 the Bolsheviks had seized power and revolution was breaking out across Europe. And the crucial issue is to understand that all ideology is a reflection of the material conditions. And we are now living in a phase in capitalism where the material conditions for the sustenance of revisionism is seriously undermined. But by the same token, there is a danger of ultra-leftism in undermining the path forward. Because we do have to look at the specific conditions in each country. It is not the case that every country will take the same path to socialism. We're finding that in Latin America, all kinds of different routes are being taken in developing the struggle of the working class people, and hugely successfully so. We're entitled to be concerned about the extent to which capitalism is a feature of the economy of China on a massive scale. And I raise the question of concern as to whether or not that massive infiltration of capital will ultimately result in a shift in the balance of forces there. So, I mean, really, it's these kind of issues we've got to get down to looking at. Insofar as the British route to socialism is concerned, well, I've been a communist since I was 19 years of age. I wasn't around when the 1951 draft was produced. But certainly it has always been understood, and I would find it inconceivable if it were not so, that the Soviet comrades and Stalin would have seen that draft before it was finally approved. That was how the international communist movement worked. I mean, in the days of the Comintern, decisions were taken internationally, and often there was conflict in national parties against the line of the Comintern, and internal fights inside communist parties, but the Comintern line usually, indeed, invariably prevailed. So, I mean, there is stuff on the internet, indeed there's a minute that can be brought up on the internet between a meeting between Pollitt and Stalin discussing the British route to socialism. And that is certainly online, and I would be surprised if that was not the case.